We just watched the Rangers win the whole dang thing. The World Series for the Rangers, the first one in their history. They leapfrogged the Mariners in the AL West. So that means the Mariners need to go out this offseason and sign and trade for some very big name players. It is this offseason the Mariners need to put up or shut up. This is the time for them. I thought it was last offseason. They kind of punted last offseason. Now it's this offseason. There is one guy on my list I think the Mariners need to go out and get at all costs. One guy that I think, of all the free agents, of all the trades, this guy makes the biggest difference for you, and that is Cody Bellinger. To be fair, I wanted Cody Bellinger last year when he had been DFA'd by the Dodgers. They didn't sign him. Kind of wish they would have, because look at what he became. Obviously, he was terrible his last 2 years with the Dodgers, but with the Cubs, he became the guy that we had seen win the MVP, a guy who is an everyday middle-of-the-order bat with great defense in the outfield. He can also play first base for you, so he can give Ty France a day off over there at first. Now, the contract that I'm willing to give Bellinger, I'll have at the end of this video, you know, create some suspense or something. First, let's talk about his numbers and see exactly why Bellinger fits so well with this team. First and foremost, in 2023, Bellinger played in 130 games. He had 95 runs, 153 hits, 29 doubles, 26 home runs with 97 RBI. He also stole 20 bags this year. He walked 40 times and cut down on his strikeout rate, striking out only 87 times. His batting average was .307 with a .356 OBP, a .525 slugging, good for an .881 OPS, and a .133 OPS plus. Looking at his Baseball Savant page, you can see why Bellinger was so damn good. Look at this sweet spot percentage. He was finding the sweet spot a lot. His hard hit percentage wasn't that great, and his trace rate was a little bit low, but his K percentage was in the 87th percentile, meaning that Cody Bellinger really cut down on his strikeout stuff. He's a guy who used to strike out a whole bunch, like 150 times a year, but for some reason in 2023, that just didn't happen. I do worry a little bit about these three stats here: average exit velocity, barrel percentage, and hard hit percentage, but honestly, with all the other numbers for Cody Bellinger, and this isn't the first time that he's done something like this, I think I can get away with it. For Bellinger, when you really look into what his problem was with the Dodgers, he was really trying to lift the ball way too much in 2021 and 2022. As you can see, his launch angle was up above 20 degrees, whereas the rest of his career, it's been right around 16 or 17 degrees. And he got back to that in 2023, leading to success, again, for a guy who's been very, very good at baseball for a long time. Bellinger is going to be 29 next year. He's going to be one of the most sought-after free agents in all of baseball. As you can see here by Spotrac.com's predictions for their top 10 MLB free agents, they have Cody Bellinger with a prediction of 5 years, $110 million with the Giants. That equates to about $22 million a year. And yeah, if you get the production that Cody Bellinger gave the Cubs this year, that is easily worth it. And there have been talks that Blake Snell is going to get like $23 million a year. It doesn't make sense for the Mariners to give that to Blake Snell, but not to like a major league veteran bat that could go out there and be in the middle of your lineup every single night. Bellinger's a guy that would hit like third in your order behind JP and Julio. I think he fits in really, really well with Gino and Cal down there as well. And again, Cody Bellinger can play the outfield very, very well. He's a Gold Glove defender in the outfield. And first base, he can be over there in lieu of Ty France, maybe against righties or something like that. Now, I'm not saying you need to platoon Bellinger at all. As you can see with his stats in 2023, versus left-handed pitching, he hit .337. Versus right-handed pitching, he hit .291. He had 16 home runs versus righties, of course, in like 200 more ABs, and 10 home runs versus lefties. He almost had reverse splits, a .357 batting average on balls in play versus lefties, compared to a .301 batting average on balls in play versus right-handed pitching, and his split OPS plus was 163 versus lefties compared to 125 versus righties. Again, Cody Bellinger should be a guy that is in there every single day, whether that be at first base or in the corner outfield. He's a guy that, again, gives Ty France a day off, and Ty France was really, really good versus left-handed pitching, so he can play first base versus lefties. But if we see the Ty France that we saw in 2023, it makes sense to have somebody in there over at first base versus right-handed pitching, and that guy could easily be Cody Bellinger. Otherwise, he's in the outfield, which would mean you'd probably need to sign another outfielder to take Bellinger's spot somewhere out there, whether that be in left or right. Versus right-handed pitching, of course, Kelenic will be in there, Julio will be in there, and then Bellinger in left or right more often than not. But when he plays first base, you do need someone to fill that spot, and it cannot be Dylan Moore, it cannot be Sam Haggerty, it cannot be like Taylor Trammell or someone like that. You need to go out there and add someone else, whether that be like a Lourdes Gurriel Jr., so on and so forth. But Bellinger just makes so much sense. I think Cody Bellinger is the perfect fit for the Seattle Mariners this year. With that being said, he is going to receive the qualifying offer from the Cubs. No doubt in my mind, the qualifying offer was announced at about $20.3 million. He's not going to accept that. He's going to decline that very quickly because he's going to make more than that, and also over more than just 1 year. So the Mariners would be losing a draft pick if they were to sign Cody Bellinger. Let's go take a look at what draft pick that would be. So as you can see here, MLB Trade Rumors did an article about what teams would receive if one of their qualifying offer qualified free agents signed with another team for more than $50 million. And as you can see here, the Cubs are here, teams who didn't receive revenue sharing funds and who didn't pay the competitive balance tax. This is a whole lot of mumbo jumbo. What really matters is, for these teams, a compensatory pick for losing a qualified free agent would also fall between competitive balance round B and the start of the 3rd round, regardless of whether the player signed for more than $50 million. Cody Bellinger is a lock to receive and reject the Cubs qualifying offer, as the outfielder first baseman will be looking to cash in after his big bounce back season. So they're talking specifically about Bellinger here. The Mariners would have to give up a competitive balance round B pick, right, which would be right before the 3rd round of the draft. I could care less about competitive balance round B if it means you're signing Cody Bellinger. With that being said, and we've talked about this, Cody Bellinger makes a lot of sense for the Mariners. Left-handed bat out there, very, very well suited for T-Mobile Park. We do have to talk about the possibility of regression for Cody Bellinger to his previous 2 years prior to this one. Again, he was really good in like the 5 years before that. He had 2 down years, and then he's back to being the guy that he was. Is it possible that Cody Bellinger regresses back to the guy he was with the Dodgers? Absolutely. But for the Seattle Mariners, there's a good chance they're going to have to offer more than what other teams are offering. We talked about this in our last podcast, and just throughout the season in general, the Mariners have to maybe buck up a little bit more money than other teams are willing to because of all the things that come along with being a Seattle Mariner, including travel, dealing with a front office that kind of seems like it doesn't care about you, and just the history of the team not being a winner. So is Cody Bellinger willing to come to Seattle? I don't know. That is the big part of the question. For me, I would be offering Cody Bellinger a 5-year, $24 million a year contract with a player opt-out after like the 3rd year. And then maybe if the team can get it, they can have like some sort of team option or a club option, what have you, after those 5 years. This contract would make Cody Bellinger the highest paid player on the Seattle Mariners over the 2024 season. Looking at the adjusted salary for Luis Castillo, it's a little bit higher than $24 million a year. But we all agree that the Mariners need to go out and use their money for offense. They can't use it on pitching anymore. Go out and use it on offense, and Cody Bellinger just makes the most sense. So 5-year, $25 million a year, we're looking at about $125 million to Cody Bellinger, and with an opt-out for Bellinger after year 3. So if he's back to being the guy that he was, again, he's 29 years old, he still has plenty of time left. If he's back to being an MVP caliber player, he can probably make $30+ million a year. Then he can opt out after the 3rd season with the Mariners and go back out on the free agent market and cash in again. In my opinion, the Mariners have to get creative when it comes to trying to sign these free agents, and Bellinger, once again, is my #1 free agent this offseason. Now, there are other guys that can go out and play corner, infield, or DH for the Mariners, and Joe made a video about that. It's on the screen right now. I appreciate you guys watching this one, and go Mariners.